Targeted map updates have been introduced in Year 11 Season 3. Starting with Villa, these updates are going to come every single season where there isn't a new map. Now, the goal of these are to improve already existing maps without completely reworking them. And the first one on Villa is a great example of this. They have moved the bomb site from living room down to basement. And they have reworked some of the basement as well to accommodate this, such as extending the garage into a defender area, adding a new hatch, and overall making it cleaner. This way, Villa is still pretty much the same map you already know, but now better. So what I want to do is take a look at a bunch of existing maps which I think should get a targeted map update next, and what I would personally do to it. So without a doubt, one of the next maps I'm expecting to get a targeted map update is definitely going to be Clubhouse. I mean, I love Clubhouse, it's one of my favorite maps in the game, but it cannot be denied that the bar and stage bomb site simply isn't popular. I know Bikini, if you're watching this, I know you like to play this site, but let's be honest, no one ever plays bar and stage. And what's the main issue with that? Well, mainly, you've of course got stock. I am going to use the Foe 12 here just because it's quite good at opening walls, and of course you have to hold a lot of vertical, so you mainly have to hold Jynxzi breach. You can have to hold CC side as well. They can also linear push through here and everything like that. For the most part, got kitchen hallway as well. For the most part, it's kind of hard for you to defend bar and stage a lot of the time just because of how many push points attackers have. And let's be honest, Clubhouse does have a glaring issue with the map, which in my opinion we can compare to, well, Villa's old basement, and that is the strip side. This side of the map doesn't really serve much purpose other than A, defenders ratting, similar to what they would do on the basement of Villa, or B, attackers using it as a sneaky entry point. Again, the same way that Villa's basement. Unfortunately, strip doesn't serve much of a purpose, and it's a bit of a shame it doesn't, because one, you've got an exterior breach here which could be used for something. You have an entry point here. You of course have another breach here with another breach over here and more entry points and a hatch and stuff like that. There is actually a lot of stuff for strip to play with here, and an extension to pool right here. So I want to emphasize, Ubisoft didn't say that every targeted map update is going to be like a big change. They may even just move bomb sites without even changing anything, but I definitely think it's pretty obvious that strip has to have something done to it. This side of the map is just kind of there, you know what I mean? It always just feels like from this point onwards, it's kind of just like bleh. You know what I mean? So I really hope they look into improving strip. Heck, maybe add like a second layer, like, you know, like add another room up there, or improve this area, move a bomb site in here, do something like this. Of course, I'm not the map designer. I don't know how exactly they would do it, but I definitely feel like moving the bomb site away from stage over there and bringing it to pool and strip is probably what's going to happen here. Or if we maybe improve this area over here, we can make a new bomb site there, and it can be a strip and like sort of bathroom bomb site. I don't know exactly what they would do. Maybe add an area here, but yeah, let's be honest, strip has to get a change at some point. I think this is definitely likely to get a targeted map update very soon. Right, next up we have Skyscraper. Now, I'll be honest, I think the bomb sites themselves on Skyscraper is fine. I don't actually think they need to tweak the bomb sites, at least for now, but I think what they need to do is just the overall entry points and traversal of the map itself. One of the big issues with Skyscraper, in my opinion, is firstly, the lack of roof play. This area here is the only part of Skyscraper where attackers can go on the roof, and it pretty much serves nothing other than one, having a drone hole which leads into Dragon, which yeah, you can probably nade. I mean, there is a dummy, it's actually in a perfect location to show that off. So we can like nade that, and you can like push someone out of Dragon. Thank you for that, paid actor right there. But other than that, it's used for that drone hole and getting from the north side over to the south side. That is all it serves. So I think the first thing they need to do, and I've been saying this for years, add a hatch here. There has to be a hatch drop in this area, and we're going to head down. Whether you put it over there or over here, that is up for debate. But why a hatch drop would be so important here is because, one, maybe we get rid of that drone hole and make a hatch there. That means that people can't really hide behind Dragon, or if they are, you can contest them from hatch, and you can contest them from window. or we put it over here in terrace. Again, just another entry point for attackers to push. This bit over here, this area, is such a high point of contention. You send a clash here, ADS. Attackers are limited to repelling here and also pushing that bit, even if they, you know, reinforce that wall. If we have a hatch in here, we can contest this area and allow for split pushes. That is one of the major issues with this map. I think another major issue with this map is just the general sort of traversal around. I actually believe that old Skyscraper had better balconies, because if you didn't play old Skyscraper, the balconies pretty much used to go all around the map. But the issue with current Skyscraper is that they're so limited. It stops there. It stops here. You've got these really annoying points where you can't even rappel around and stuff like that. Skyscraper, honestly, from a design perspective, is very messy. And that's something that the rework majorly failed in back in Operation Neon Dawn. So, like, for here, this shouldn't all be rappel. We need a balcony here or something like that. Again, if you have a balcony here, it will help with the push here. That wasn't really one of the major issues with old Skyscraper, wasn't the balcony. Let's be honest, it was the interior, but they actually messed up a lot of the exterior with this rework, and it's just made it one of the most limiting maps. Again, this balcony, you're just stuck on rappelling in. That makes runouts really easy, jump outs really easy. There's so little stuff for the attackers to work with in this map. So what we really need to do is add, I don't know, ladders here to the roof, a proper roof point, proper traversal around this map, which doesn't rely on us. Like, why is there a banner here? Why are you not allowed to rappel? Like, it's messy. This map is a mess, unfortunately. So we really need to work on stuff like that, work on these outside areas, work on just so many different parts here. There's so much dead space. It's just hard for attackers to get into the building, and even when they can get into a building, it's just really hard for them to get in good positions. Like, even get into a balcony like this, you know, it just doesn't work very well. You want to have a nice mix of repelling and entry points. Skyscraper doesn't have that mix, so we need to work on the outside of this map. Definitely add a hatch in here, and for the most part, I think that's a good start. I think the rest of the map isn't that bad, but we can just work on these little things, because right now it's too linear. There's not a lot for attackers to work with, and it just doesn't make it a fun experience, right? If you've ever seen my content before, you know this one is coming. Cafe Dostoyevsky is an absolute mess. To begin with, the spawn points are absolutely horrendous. This map has the worst spawns in the game. I'm still surprised that this map hasn't had any changes when it comes to its spawns. Spawn peaks are rife on this map. And listen, I'm not one who really bothers about spawn peaks, because I think spawn peaks aren't an issue with game design, they're an issue with map design. And this is a map which sort of just highlights that. To begin with, you spawn there. So the moment you walk a second, you can get picked from there. They also have to walk around this area, and the issue with this spawn here as well is it's a 50-50. When you choose the park spawn, you will either spawn behind this building or behind this building. Spawning behind this building gives you a safe route around this area. Again, you still can be peeked, but it's a very dangerous peek from this window. Or it's a 50-50 chance that you spawn behind this sort of little shed thing. The issue with this spawn is you can be pinned from this window, and you can also be pinned from the piano window over here. So what this means is that when you choose the spawn point, you are put in a 50-50 chance of spawning here or spawning here. If the game randomly decides that you're going to spawn here, you are forced into a spawn peak regardless. That isn't a skill issue. That's simply, factually, bad map design. I don't want to debate it. It's factually true. If you have a spawn point which is relying on RNG, whether you have to face a spawn peak or not, that is just bad map design. And, you know, again, I'm not really, like, against spawn peaks. I know that these are kind of, I want to say high risk, high reward, but on Cafe, they're honestly not. The spawns on Cafe just have no cover. And I think you need a nice balance. I think Cafe is way too spawn peak reliant. I just think it's terrible in that sense. Now, whilst we're in Piano Room, you may have seen a rework concept video I made on this. Another issue with Cafe is its top floor relies on rappels or hatch drops or pushing stairs. There is no linear entry point which isn't rappel based, and I think that isn't healthy for a map. If you have to rely on pushing from below, a hatch, or a window, you're limiting options here. I made a concept video which placed a double exterior breach here. It extended these walls up to here with a gap at the top, so you can still, like, throw nades from the window over, but it's still covered from here. We actually, I can't remember what we've done with ticket window. We moved this window over here as well, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, so we changed a few things, but basically what that meant was we had some construction here. So we made it that this bit was destroyed, by weather, so that means you could drop down. And because of the destruction here, there was the destruction is a bunch of construction stuff here. So I'll show some images on screen, but basically you could just like get up. There was ladders, there was cover, there was a sort of balcony around the side of like scaffolding and stuff like that. It had cover from white spawn peak. It made a pushing top floor a lot more fresh because you actually have a double wall to push, rather than just always going on windows, always facing spawn peaks. That's the issue with Cafe. It's got an issue there because it's so repetitive. The spawns are bad, the attacks aren't fresh. This map needs a facelift. That's what I would personally do at Cafe. But yeah, it's a glaring issue with the map I don't think anyone can deny. Now, next up, I'm actually going to say Oregon. Now, hear me out for a second here, because I know people will defend this more than they'll defend their own birth children. I don't dislike Oregon. I just think it's very boring and overplayed. And I don't want to change a majority of the map. I don't really want to change any of the existing parts of the map. What I actually want to do to Oregon is add to the map. I think we can improve it. And what I think we can improve is this area here. So let me show you my issue with Oregon here. I think especially with Green Hallway and Big Tower, I think this area is where the map falls short. I think this bit, and then sort of just like the fact that the map doesn't extend past this bit and just go straight to the small tower. I think this is all dead area where you've got attic, where you've got kids and stuff like that. I think this is the weakest part of the map. So instead of changing any existing part we actually have on this map, what I think we should do is extend the map out to here. So maybe if we take it from old tower, so out here, maybe you could do like an L shape over here and then around here and then to small tower. So kitchen itself is more inside rather than having this exterior area here. I think we need another bit here. So what we could do is we could make this bit an actual building so we can walk across to a small tower over here. We could maybe do something with kids window so it isn't just a vaultable. You know, maybe change that a little bit or add some more cover inside. So, because I do agree, if we have this bit like where you can just stand here and vault in, then yes, having a direct view like this would be pretty strong. But I guess you could contest it from attic still. But yeah, I think we should extend the building over to here so you can walk it over, have a bit of area in here. That means then Green Hallway, as we come around here, oops, I almost threw an 8. That means we can have an area where you walk through there. You can still have a hallway here, but maybe instead of this being a window, it's now a door into another room here. And you could have a bomb site here. So the bomb site could be kitchen and whatever that new area is here, rather than kitchen and small tower. I personally think that would just be a lot nicer, in my opinion, and I think that would breathe some new life into it. And heck, we don't have to replace the small tower bomb site. Can we not just make this a 5th option? I know we don't really have, you know, 5th option bomb sites in here, but look, we've got like a little tomato plant area here, so we could call this farm, or you could have this as a shed, like farm supply. So the bomb site could be kitchen and farm supply. We have a tractor in here. You have like an exterior breach here, for example, or like, you know, you have that extends around here. I'm just brainstorming, but I think this is actually really interesting of what you could do here. And to me, I think that would make Oregon more interesting because Oregon is pretty small. So I think extending it here, having a building that connects here, just a 1 floor. You don't have to make it a 2-story one. Or maybe you could extend this little bit out here and then it goes back to a 1-story one. But yeah, hopefully I'm explaining this best I can. You know, my imagination is going a bit crazy here, but I would love to see that played around with Oregon. And I actually want to talk about a house, and this is a map which is getting modernized in Year 11 Season 3. I'm not on a modernized version right now. This is just like pre-modernization. And I've been very vocal about how I don't like this version of house. I simply don't think it's a good map, but I still think it can be improved. To begin with, make it bright, get rid of this like sort of, you know, sunset overcast. I just don't think it looks very nice in my opinion. Make it either nighttime or make it daytime. Just pick one of the two. I don't really like the lighting. I just don't think it adds to the niceness of this map because it's not really that much of a nice sunset. It's one of those sort of ugly sunsets in my opinion. So firstly, change that completely. Secondary, it seems like there was a lot of things they've done with this rework that they were scared of old house. Like for example, why is the main door shut? Firstly, open the main door. Simply open the main door. This has to be an entry point for attackers. It's so silly that there's no main door there and attackers are forced all the way through here. Like, because if you go into main lobby, there's literally like nothing. Like, that's such a main part of the map just absolutely closed off. So that needs to be opened up to begin with. Second, like, I'll show you another weird thing actually about outside here, which again, This map to me feels more like a prison than it does a house. Like, look at this. Ready? What is this about? Like, why does this area even exist? Like, you can even rappel in here. And there's absolutely nothing here. This is blocked off. I mean, there's a drone hole, granted, which I actually didn't even know until now. Where does this even go? Genuinely didn't even know there was a drone hole here. But, like, it just kind of feels like there's so much wasted space. Like, there's nothing here. We keep going around the corner. No window here. Oh, I just rappelled back in again. Like, this map is too closed off. Like, I understand it's a casual map, but we could honestly keep improving it until it becomes competitively viable. Like, I think that could be fun. But yeah, like, there's too many closed windows. It feels more like a prison in here. And that's been always one of my major gripes with this map and why I've not liked it. And I just think it's, like, sucked away all the identity which the old map had. Like, I just think the lighting, I just think everything about it is worse. I don't think the modernization of this map even looks that much better. I'm actually quite disappointed by this map's modernization on the test server. Another major thing, just bring back the OG garage walls. Make this a double breach as well. Double breach, double breach. Like, that's what old one was like. Garage wars, bring garage wars back. Because again, oh, I missed that, that's embarrassing. Again, it kind of just sucks to push this when you're limited here. Just open both of these up, make them both double breaches like the old version of House. And yeah, I don't know, I think this map can be vastly improved. I just don't like it in its current state. I think visually the sun is just not very nice. Like, it's just not aesthetically nice in my opinion. And it feels more like a prison. We need to make it feel more like a house. Open them doors. Open this doors. You know what I mean? Give us more entry points for attackers. Open that. Even, yeah, you know, that door. Do something with that as well. Like, yeah. You can improve this. I don't like current House. I think this can be tidied up. And sort of jumping off the point of House, I want to jump to theme park as well because the modernization of this was something I wasn't very fond of to begin with. I still feel like the lighting feels very flat on this map. I think we need to change the position of the sun, which I don't even know where the sun is. I can't even tell over that direction. Like, I think we need to change the position of the sun because everything looks a bit flat in my opinion. But not only that, theme park suffers very similar issues to House in my opinion. And that's like, after they reworked it, they just shot off so many entry points. So let's look. Window, window, window. Used to be a door, closed off. No window. Let's see, you got the door up there into cafe. Window. Where are all the doors? Where are all the exterior breaches? Attack is not very fun. There's a I like this map, may I add, but there's a reason not many people enjoy playing this map. Again, another window. Why does the lighting always look so flat on this modernization? They need to like re-modernize this map. I still think this is the worst looking one. Door. Door. Okay, 2 doors, no exterior breach on the bottom. Let's go up. Again, I feel like that's why this map is struggles so much. We got a door here, you have to rappel on the balcony. It's not terrible. I like pushing cash. I like this as well. I like the fact you can access the roof, and I actually really like the roof of this map. I think it's nice. We got that. I would kind of like more action over here. This is where train used to be, so throwback to train. Never looked in this way, but that's pretty cool. Is there a train Easter egg here? Do they have a train throwback? No, they don't. Yeah, I never disliked the old version of train. I thought old theme park was alright, but I don't dislike this version either. But again, it just comes down to those entry points. This is such a high risk catch drop. You're then funneled through cafe. That's kind of your only linear door on this side of the map, unless you go and rappel there. This map just suffers the same issues which House suffers, and that's just there's not many entry points for attackers. I could say the same about Outback as well, but we're not going to put Outback in this video. But like, can we maybe move one of the throne breaches to here and make it an outside breach, or add a new balcony up here and add an exterior breach here? There's not a lot of outside play other than windows. Again, this map just is very blocky, you know what I mean? I like theme park, I really like the interior of this map, but like, again, can we open the bloody main door? Like, look how, if there's no way to even get into main lobby bar a window. Like, this is so hard to get into as well. Like, that's a death sentence for attackers. Open this up. It would contest a lot of this area here, Capital, everything like that. It would make taking barrels all this area a lot better as well. There's no need for this to be blocked off. I think that definitely needs to be open. But hey, all of these are just my opinion as someone who loves all of these maps and wants to see them improved with the targeted map updates. And I'm quite impressed what they've done with Villa. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. Maybe you disagree. But yeah, let me know what maps you would change personally, and if you disagree with any of my proposed ones. Have a good one.